Can We Rewatch podcast. We are rewatching the original Cutthroat, season 20 of the challenge, episodes 1 and 2. And I gotta say, Jimmy, to start this off, this was such a like. This was a not this was not a very good season of the challenge. Just watching it back, like, oh, the superstar power is not there. We got Johnny Bananas, who's still kind of coming out of his shell. Finally, getting out there a little bit. We have a young Cara Maria. We got Abram all over the place, but the star power was not there for this one. But episodes 1 and 2. How do you think? What do you think about coming into this season, Cutthroat of the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just looking at the talent and the challenges, it's not a lot of superstars, but I do think there's a lot of foundational characters that go on and have a strong career in the challenge. This is Laurel's rookie season.
No, it's her
Um,
second. I think her second. She came in the freshman too.
okay. So yeah, so one of the newer, she's one of the newer people. So this is like her second season. So we got Laurel coming into her own, just laying down her intimidation from the very beginning,
Yep.
wanting to wrestle people. We got Dunbar, Derek. But also we got Brad, right? And this is when he has Tori, Tori's a really strong competitor in her own right. I think we have Derek, the other Derek that's a rookie as well,
From Cancun, yes.
from
Real Cancun.
Cancun. Tyler's on this one as well. So it's definitely like I say, and the additional names that you already named. It's I think this is a new batch of competitors, new batch of challengers. Breath of fresh air. But like you said, it's not a huge lot of star power, especially around this particular era of the challenge. They had so many different people they could have chose from. So yeah, but this decided three teams is something different at the time. I really like some of the different twists in the game setup. So I was kind of excited going into this particular season, and I'm giving it like a few episodes to see.
Yeah, you do make a good point though. I mean, there are a lot of people that went on to have a successful challenge career. I accidentally kind of let remember they did the introductions. The like what's the start to the show? What do they call it? The uh damn, what do they call the start of the show? Like a what's the start of a sitcom? The not the
Premiere.
trailer, not the trailer, not the premiere. It is the this is drinking what drinking gets me. It's the
Beginning.
no, it's the introductory, like the song, the themes. Oh, theme song. I
Oh, the
guess it's
theme
like a
song.
theme song, but it's not a theme song. So I guess it is a little different. But yeah, so on this one, I was accidentally watching the introductory where everybody kind of shows up and they introduce everybody. And you make a good point because a lot of these people did go on to win championships. I think that I counted like 10 or 11 people to win championships, including like Camilla. You mentioned Dunbar, Emily, Paula,
Familiar.
obviously the Bananas, Derek's of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that went on to have successful challenge careers. But I think that if they we already reviewed season 21 of the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and that shift that they made was great because I don't think a lot of people would have went on to be who they became if they didn't make that like drastic shift that they did the challenge. So kudos to that. But yeah, this is a foundational, I guess, season, and we are here. Can we rewatch podcast the challenge? Can we rewatch the challenge season 20, episode 1? And it starts off. We're in Czech Republic. And the last people who got their luggage and stuff across get to pick. And one of those people is Camilla, and I forget who the last player is, but the other player, the other people,
Siobhan.
Siobhan, and who else?
Third person. It has to be a guy.
I think it was Derek. Derek, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't.
I know it's Siobhan, Camilla. I just couldn't put my finger on the gentleman. My God, ChatGPT. Give me 1 second. Camilla, Siobhan, and Emily. It
Emily.
was
Wow.
Emily. It
All
was
right.
Emily.
All right. So we got the last people to actually finish.
All right, what was your thoughts when you I think so we got the captains, we had Emily, we had Camilla, and we had Siobhan. Notoriously Siobhan's fresh off the season when she had those implants
Yeah.
when she jumped off a ledge or something and hit the water and her implants blew up. But what was your initial thoughts when you seen the teams? Because I thought it was interesting how they went about choosing the teams. I like the twist, but just at first glance, when we looked at the finalization of all three teams, um, what was your initial thoughts? And I'll tell you mine.
I mean, I think my initial thought, I didn't think too much of it, right? I just remember, oh, this is the era that we had like such like deep teams. Right now, one or two or three people, just 6 to 7, which could
Hmm.
really get things sticky. So that was my initial thoughts. But I mean, my attention automatically went to Camilla. Camilla, like, this is her first season, Camilla, and her first pick is Dunbar, right? Like, I thought that was insane. Like, I'm like, yo, have you not studied the game? To pick Dunbar first, it's kind of crazy. At least at this point of his career. No, just in totality, like to pick Dunbar first is crazy. But we obviously know Dunbar went on to win a championship in this season. So, but I thought that was very interesting for Camilla, kind of be wet behind the ears to pick Dunbar. But I also, she picked Brad and Tori. And what I do remember about this season is that kind of led to Camilla's demise. Like Brad and Tori were sort of in an alliance with Dunbar, and they continued to throw in Camilla over and over. And I gave you Camilla's elimination record recently, 9-4 in 13 eliminations, and a lot of that was in this season specifically. So those are my initial thoughts. And my last thing was the last player pick for Camilla was Brandon, and we just did the challenge season 30 rewatch. Can we rewatch podcast? And we know what she did to Leroy, how she spoke to Leroy about being a black man. And then her last pick, Camilla's was Brandon, and she said, "I guess the team needed some color." So you didn't like that though, right?
Not a little bit. I mean, not at all. I thought that was crazy. I think that was a little bit crazier than how she went off on Nelson. And I think those are the little microaggressions that we kind of deal with every day. Just being black, right? Whether it's out and about in your social life or just even at work, right? For you to choose like, oh, let's add some color to the team, so let's pick Brandon. It kind of minimizes Brandon's time individually as well. It's like, hey, I don't think you're a good competitor. Let's pick you, so just add some color and almost like you're a DEI, right? And I mean, I know that wasn't a term back then, but that's essentially how she portrayed, and I thought it was insulting, to be honest with you. And so it's not surprising in retrospect when you see years later on that she has some racist remarks towards Leroy, and I thought that was crazy, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. Looking back on it, it's definitely a little crazier. So I mean, we get in here. I don't. There was not too much to talk about in the house. I guess I could. I guess we could talk about this though. I had it for the second episode. We could talk about it here because it started here.
Hmm.
Cara Maria and Abe, we saw them sort of building a very weird connection, but they look like they're forming something. What do you think about these two very different people then and now? As they got together back then, the challenge season 20, Cutthroat, and now looking on them, how obviously they're not together, but looking on them now as well.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, especially how Johnny was like two weird people that like kind of like each other. Definitely interesting characters and interesting personalities. I think like seeing Abram, because I think from the outside looking in, Abram does seem like a gentleman that has a few screws loose, right? So seeing him, his admiration for Kara, kind of see him in a different light. Um, and I thought it was pretty cool. Something that's these first two episodes continue to develop, and what we didn't know is how much of a power couple that this would end up turning out to be. I think this relationship also helps Carl Maria kind of come into her own as well, and just build a little bit more confidence. I think it's kind of similar to how Jordan was able to kind of bring Tori on the season we just finished. This is one of those things when you have a strong male presence behind you, just being able to reinforce confidence in you goes a long way. And just be able to give you confidence. So really excited about it. And I'm just, I'm saying I'm not a big, huge Love Island fan, but I'm all for people being able to find a person, and I'm all for it. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's creepy as hell. I don't like watching it. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. I cannot lie. I just feel like, yo, this what's going on here does not make me feel good. And then talk about the house is haunted, and Abe is really he does seem like he has a few screws loose, and just the way he talks about things, and him and Cara Maria, and they're talking about leaving marks and biting each other and all that. It does not feel very comfortable for me. But I do like to see Cara Maria. I feel like she did start to build her confidence here. I think you were spot on because when we seen her in like Fresh Meat and she was out in round one with Darrell when she first came onto the challenge and sort of questioning herself. And I don't think she did too great in this challenge, but I think that this was sort of the spark to get her going forward. And we've seen her in the season after this, and she still didn't necessarily have it, but I think that Cara Maria, all of these things just sort of build into her story and why she's one of the greats because she did go through these off like kind of off white challenges or whatever that who did season 20. It was Cara Maria was there, Tori, some random people that Siobhan, like some random people that I don't know, but it's going through those pains and losing those battles to kind of get you where you are, where she eventually wins her first challenge in the Battle of the Bloodline. So I do like to see Cara Maria here because it's sort of the origin story, if you will. But yeah, her and Abe together, heebie-jeebies for sure. I got nothing for it. So, but
I think Abe's a strong competitor too. So I think just generally he's always he had. I mean, up until now he hasn't kind of um had his huge successes, but he hasn't been a slouch. And I think this is one of the seasons we're going to see him really perform. So I'm really excited to see how he navigates this particular season. And Kamaria, she could be politicking for all you know. And I think this is, like I said, we're going to see how far she gets with this particular relationship. But I think like this is a great way to start our alliance week one, week two, first two episodes into the season to get your footing in going into the show.
yeah, let's talk about the challenge now. I don't my notes are not very good here. I have a very messy challenge, sort of a shit show. What do you remember what the challenge was?
I believe I remember the red team winning the challenge. Um,
Red team lost, so they sent in Camilla.
so then the blue team won because the gray team is not good.
No, blue
No,
team
it's the
got
blue team's
two.
not good. The gray team won.
Gray team
Yes,
won.
yes,
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 gray
yes.
team won.
What I when I thought about when I was watching, I love the leadership that Abram had.
Yeah,
Because I remember just watching Abram, he's very very vocal, and being able to as far as motivate his particular team. And I think we've seen a lot of different leaders. I think when you look at the blue team, we had Johnny. I think this is a great challenge. You kind of see the difference between the team that had a lot of the vets, and then you see the team with all the athletes. And then you seen the great team, which you had a lot of the rookies in, just seeing how they perform. So that was my initial reaction when I was watching the first challenges because I was interested to see how these three teams stack up.
yeah,
So that was my initial takeaways. Like one team had a lot of vets. The red team is extremely athletic. And so I think they'll have a lot of a good foot in. But the gray team, you can see that really they got a lot of they got to come together.
yeah.
Which I believe is Emily's team.
Yeah, and this was now that I remember, it's like the smoke challenge. They had to go in,
Oh,
and it was very hazy and smoky. And I think you made a great point. Abram did show great leadership in that moment, sort of leading the team. And I think that eventually that's going to lead to their demise. This great team, just kind of relying on on this guy Abe, who it can be Jekyll and Hyde, and we'll talk about that as we get into episode two. But no, I think that they did show he showed great leadership in that moment and he put the red and blue team against each other. And I think that that's where it gets a little dicey. So for me, the next part of this is that Camilla and like the red team has to nominate someone, and Camilla, who picked this team, picked Tori and Brad together. Not a great strategy, right? You pick these two people who are married, and you think they're going to help you, but they're their number ones. Who's their number two? It ends up being Dunbar. You're sort of on the very bottom half, and we see like when it's time to for someone to go in elimination, they're very easily and willing to pick Camilla, who's a rookie in this game, but you're the one to put these two people together, man and wife. So it got a little dicey for me, and Camilla probably regretted that strategy. What did you think about that?
I mean, I think naturally, just in retrospect, I do agree that you definitely didn't want to put two people on the same team that's just directly in the same relationship. Because like I said, dump. And then Brad and Tori good, and I think these are one of those alliances where we know how strong of a competitor Brad is. Tori is no slouch, especially how much of a competitor her history with the being a female competitor. But I will just say going in, we don't know the game model. Know it's gonna be three teams. Know that you're gonna have to nominate someone from your team. So I think like that was one of those things where,
I
in
got you.
retrospect, when you from a strategy perspective, you do want to kind of mix those people up to be able to have some type of leverage. But also, you got to remember how Camilla ended up becoming the captain. She was last, right?
Yeah,
One of her earlier seasons, so you don't have no alliances established. And I think and then the scariest thing about it is you can throw your rock and hide your hand because now the votes are anonymous. So I think like it just puts you in a situation where hey, you know how vets are. They want to nominate the rookies or the people that don't have that much experience and the people that they don't think is that good. And I think Camilla unfortunately falls into both of those buckets, no matter if she was the captain or not. And she was a captain for episode one. That don't make her the captain of the team in general. You feel me? So
yeah.
I don't feel bad for how they moving. Because if I was Brad and Dumbo, I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I will say I kind of forgot about Tori. I need to kind of like go through her challenge history, but I think one thing that we talked about like Killer Cam previously in episodes, and one thing that she does well is sort of control the game and be out there as far as like this is what we're going to do. And I saw Tori early in this season say, "Hey, we need to stick
Keep
together.
doing
It's
that.
not about it's not about who we think is best. We're not voting each other in. We'll vote them in every single time. We don't care, but we got to look out for each other." Talking to her, Brad Dunbar, and maybe another person after that. But I thought that was a great strategy and just laying it out. Like this is not the strongest season ever. There is no CT. Jordan hasn't arrived yet, right? There is Bananas, but he's not Bananas yet. He's still
Mhm.
John and Johnny. So all of those things you kind of take in factor. And I thought that Tori, I was like, oh, she's a strong competitor because she's now controlling the game from the jump and letting these rookies like Camilla, sweat where they stand. So I did love to see her compete, and I'm like, I gotta go through her history, Tori. But yeah, so we do see Camilla. She eventually gets voted in,
Mhm.
and she gets voted in versus Emily, who I've never even really remember or heard of. But before then, Camilla gets into it with Teresa. What did you think about that? They're going back. I thought Teresa was very immature in this moment.
Oh, 100%. Teresa is very immature, but I also think that back then, this is kind of Teresa's MO. I mean, I think everybody's not fully aware of how spicy Camilla is at this point. And you kind of seen Laurel kind of do it as well. Like, they kind of trying to pick on and bully anyone that they feel like is prey.
Right.
You seen Laurel going in, she was like, hey, you trying to wrestle? And trying to catch her while she was drunk, too. It was like, hey, you trying to wrestle? And she's like, no, like, just chill. You know what I'm saying? Ducking that smoke. And yeah, so I thought like as Teresa pressed Camilla too, they don't know how crazy Camilla is, but also I like this establishing your dominance. You know what I'm saying? I like the energy, so I was actually wasn't mad at it.
I was mad at it because I mean, obviously, this is hindsight in 2026. Can we rewatch podcasts? We are rewatching the season 20 of the challenge, the original Cutthroat season, and Teresa looking back on, I mean, Teresa never won anything.
No.
Anything. In fact, she almost had the chance. She had the chance to go to in the final. She was in the final after they replaced Naya with Teresa, the pair with Leroy. They don't even win that final. She was already eliminated. So Teresa's never won anything, and she's going against Camilla, who we just talked about is one of the greater challenges that we've ever seen on that gridiron. And it just looking in hindsight, it's like, this is what it's all about, right? Camilla's about her like strength and will, and Teresa's about like sort of the gimmicks and the talking and sort of the mind games, if you will. But a lot of that didn't work out because she's just not that fierce of a competitor. She is pretty good, right? But
She's
when you
solid,
put
like I
her,
said.
no
She's
doubt,
definitely.
she's always pretty good. But when you put her against Laurel, what is she?
Right.
Laurel eats her up and Laurel dominates, right? And when you put her
Mhm.
against Emily, What does Emily do? Emily dominates, right? Emily's not as brash about it as Laurel, but I just felt like looking back on this, Teresa, this wasn't a good look because this is a two-time champion and probably could have won a little more, but you disagree.
I hate both of those examples because I think Camilla will lose against Emily. I think Camilla will lose against Laurel too. And I think that when we kind of talk about the Mount Rushmores, when we talk about top female competitors, two of those five names or four names we name is Emily or and Laurel, and both of them are big. So I don't think that's saying much if Teresa's
Mm.
not holding her own against Laurel because Teresa's still a small woman in stature, similar to how Camilla's a small person in stature. And I think that we've seen Teresa. I would love to put up her elimination record. She had some strong performances in eliminations, and I remember the season that I believe when she was partnering with Wes, she was doing really really good and holding her own. So I would love to know what that record is.
Yeah, I mean Teresa, no doubt. Like I would never say that she's trash. I just say like she hasn't won. She doesn't have that to like take. She's only been on one final, right? Can we
Okay.
say that, right? But she
Uh-huh.
is in elimination. She's 2-7, my boy. There
Two
we
and
go.
seven is crazy. All right. Well, yeah, maybe she should go sit in the corner and be a little bit humble. See
That's
her
what I'm
out on that.
saying. And at the time, right? Like she's a little more experienced. It's just like yo. In hindsight, this doesn't look very great for someone to be barking at Camilla, who's a rookie at that time, but end up winning two championships, one for 500,000 or $450,000, and you've never won. You're 2-7 eliminations. You got a bark, but not too much of a bite. So that's how I looked at it, right? So that's how I looked at it, and I was like,
That's crazy.
I don't know about that, Teresa.
I feel you. Well, in that case, hey, you see what I'm saying? That's
That's
crazy. 2-7. That's insane. Dang, Teresa. Yeah, hey, and she's been on all such. That's sad. I'm sorry to hear that. All
and the
right.
stats are the stat. I love how you pivot there, though. You respect the game. You respect the numbers. It is the
Oh,
type of show,
100%.
for
100%.
sure.
Hey, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Absolutely. But all right, let's go to the actual elimination. We know Camilla and Emily got voted in. I never even heard of Emily. Like I don't remember her at all. But
Yeah,
we
this is nigga.
also, we also got Derek from Cancun, who's been a very great competitor, I think, over the past like four seasons that he's been in. And we got Brandon as well, the black guy from the red team. So he goes in. But we start off with I mean, what do you think about these two eliminations?
I'm glad Brandon was able to just show some value. This is elimination you can't lose. Just naturally looking. I do think Derek, we do see, I think he's a great personality. I don't think he was ever a super, super strong competitor from an individual perspective. Like especially to be in elimination. I would love to know what his elimination record is. There's no
Yeah,
way
it's
that's
not
not.
great. He did beat
Yeah.
your boy Corey though.
So, and that's crazy to have a better elimination record. Of course, hilarious. But no. Just a great person in general. You know what I'm saying, he's good for the show. But I was just excited to see Brandon specifically go down there, and perform. And it was a very, very physical challenge. I think, like when it comes to like endurance, I think they was wrapped up in chains and they had to fight each other. So I think it was a very, very physical elimination. So I thought it was very interesting. I like how they set the tone for this particular season, being something that's physical right out the gate. And I like the performance out of both of those challenges as well. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, one thing I do like about because I don't like too much about this challenge. Can we rewatch podcast season 20 of the challenge? But one thing I do like is the eliminations. The elimination seems physical. The one
Hmm.
highlight that we always see from this season is an elimination with Johnny Bananas and CT. So I do love the eliminations. It did start off physical, so you kind of got a little feeling for what this will be overall. But Brandon stepped up. I felt like he went in. He didn't go in as like a sore loser or anything. I'm young. I'm fresh in the game. They threw me in. Cool. Let me earn my stripes, and then I'll be good going forward. But we'll talk about that more.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I felt like he went down, earned his stripes. But I feel like there was, I feel like that he needed some higher competition. So in that moment, I think that Brandon is a pretty good competitor. Didn't always get the best in the best deal, but in this season, whatever, he showed up in this elimination. So it was good to see that. I thought Camilla maybe was a little more impressive because at this point we didn't expect her to do this.
Exactly.
People really didn't know her history, and some of the people on her red team were looking up like, oh, we didn't know she could do this like this. So, but I thought the biggest thing from the elimination is the blue team. Two people went home from the blue team.
Yeah, and I think that I thought that was interesting. But they're young, right? The team's very very young. So like I said, we talked about in the beginning. I think that they have a very inexperienced team. And I think that we're going to see how that inexperience shows up in a variety of different challenges as we continue to go through this particular season. But definitely coming out the gate and losing two people on your team is definitely a huge disadvantage. But you're gonna kind of go with, hey, we cut off like the dead weight, some of our weakest team members. So we'll see if it's addition by subtraction and then consequential episodes.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's get into the next episode. As we saw, Brandon and Camilla both come back from the red team,
Mm-hmm.
and they've earned their stripes. So they hope they don't go in again, and we'll talk about that. But let's get into the start of the episode two. We see Car and Abe again, but we already went through that. But I think one of the things that I want to focus on is Laurel. Unfocused Laurel. We talked about this when we did the challenge rewatch season 21. If you look at the competitors in this challenge, right? Looking back in Cutthroat, the original Cutthroat, season 20 of the challenge, Laurel is probably the best. Like she should win this
Hands
season,
down, hands
but
down.
but as you see, as we start this episode, she's unfocused. She's drunk. She's trying to get into it with everybody. Talk about these two people hooking up, la di da di, everything. Like it's just like, yo, Laurel, where's your head at? And her head was not always in the game. And although Laurel is one of the top competitors, especially in eliminations. I mean, I'm going to bring up her elimination record, but I mean, she's always been that. Like that's when she locks in, right, back against the
Mhm.
wall, elimination. But Laurel, like early in her career, she was not always focused and locked in, and I felt like she left a couple championships on the table, including this season of Cutthroat. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I think I think the biggest point that you made is like the seasons where she was the strongest, the seasons where when you stacked up the women competitors that she was competing against, there were several seasons where she was the best competitor, and I think that this season in particular, I know it's one of her earlier seasons, so she's still getting her reins and navigating this being on the challenge and alliances, and also just being able to share her personality with the viewers and her competitors. But like I can't stress enough how this lack of focus and I understand that we all let loose and it's just like when she gets distracted, she goes down different rabbit holes, things that don't even matter. She voices her opinions on different and she chooses her battles. Like you got to choose your battles better, right? And I think like
Mm-hmm.
she does things. She's engages. It's immature in a way. It's ego in a way, right? And it's just she continues to put herself in situations where she's a detriment to herself, and it's preventing her from being successful in these seasons. And this is just another. As we was opening season, she's talking about this player, the camaraderie, and the love these people in a relationship and things like that. I think it's a way that shows that she's insecure, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
I
I
think
agree.
that's the biggest takeaway when just watching how she's navigating and how she's interacting with other individuals. So
Yeah, I agree. That's probably why she didn't get cast for the real world. It's like, she's a little much. But what I will say, Laurel, her elimination record is 10-3, so she's really
mhm.
good against the spread. But when I just talked about Teresa, before we even knew her elimination record, how about one of those three losses that Laurel has against Camilla? Camilla beat her in Invasions. You said
Mm.
you watched that season, right? Invasions.
Mhm.
Camilla beat her in elimination. So, listen, we talking pound for pound, locked in.
Oh, for sure. I think
Camilla's up there.
Camilla. Yeah, I think like in hindsight, Camilla's definitely gonna go down as one of the most fiercest competitors, especially in eliminations. It definitely. So this, yeah, I always want to give Camilla her credit. Especially this. I'm big on like your stature, and I think that being able to overcome your stature against bigger opponents and just being able to maximize the attributes, your God given talent, your attributes, I give those people more credit than someone that's 6'2" or 6'1". Like, because Laurel, she's big, she should be 10-3, right? I think
Yeah.
like when you said Camilla's 9-4, for example, 9-4 for someone that's 5'6", right? Maybe a buck 30, buck 40 versus someone that's 6'1", 5'11", 180. Like this thing about her competitors, the people that she's going against, she's always the bigger person. She always has the advantage, right? So just you have a similar record to someone versus someone else that's always having to overachieve. They always have to overcome obstacles and things of that nature. Just it speaks to her tenacity, and just the quality of competitor she is. So definitely Camilla, kudos to her. And Laurel should be much better than she is. She have way more championships for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm sure Kenny would as well, as they were partnered on together on Fresh Meat. But I think that was Fresh Meat too. But yeah, so let's like I wanted to when I started texting you about how bad I
Mhm.
thought this season was, it was during the actual challenge of episode 2, season 20 of the challenge. What the hell is this challenge, bro? They're hanging upside down. They're trying to like use momentum to like hand each other like a trophy to place on a mantle. This was not great, Jimmy. This was pretty bad from
Yeah.
my perspective. What do you think?
I just think like I don't blame it on the competitors. I'm more so I didn't like the challenge in itself. I thought it
Yeah.
wasn't thought out, and I think this is another this is a drop from the production team. And I think one of those things. Now we don't they don't get any like kudos and no grace for this because allegedly they had people try out these particular challenges before. So just one make sure is there's a strategy and there's a possibly successful, but this is the entertainment aspect and just hanging upside down. You can tell like multiple players is confused on what's the best strategy
Right.
to do to be successful, and I don't understand the thinking behind it. But I mean, I do think it does stick with the theme that it is a physical demanding challenge, and I think that's one common theme that when we think about the daily challenges and eliminations to the 2 episodes going in, they have been endurance, and you have to be really, really strategic, and teamwork has been crucial for both of the daily challenges so far. But what was your thoughts? But yeah, I think it was crazy. I don't understand what the thought process behind it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to harp on it once again. I thought the show, watching it back now, the show was going downhill. The show was truly going downhill just with the casting, the actual challenges that I'm seeing, the production value of it. Sort of like even TJ didn't seem like to be himself. It felt like he was forced to say some extra things about people's performance and stuff. It just didn't feel like how the challenge feels now. And also you got Abram as a star, right? You don't trust me. I watched a lot of the challenge, right? And the best people are the ones that make you laugh, not the ones that make you cringe. And when I talk about the ones that make you laugh, it's Johnny Bananas, it's Kenny before then, it's the Evans of the world, the Wesses, the people that have that entertainment value. And Abram didn't have that, but somehow he's sort of the star of this show at this point. Him and Brad and Tori, right? Those are the
And
main
Brad
stars.
Torre.
So it's just like you don't necessarily want that because Abe is like we said, a few screws loose. And watching like me, like we said, we watch from a black man's perspective. And me watching this season, I would have turned it off, bro. I would have turned something else on. Like, I'm not feeling this season. Let me see what's happening next season because they're coming off the ruins, and then they get to the ruins had so much star power, and you
I'm
come
gonna say
into
the
this,
wrong lit.
and it's just like, so that's what I thought. But also within the challenge, Abram, why are people
Leader,
following this guy?
leader though.
Why, bro? This guy is sitting there making a game plan, saying don't watch anyone else perform the challenge, which doesn't make any sense because that helps everybody. And he's making a game plan that totally goes to shit. Not only that, but he doesn't perform. He says, "Hey, I'm going to take this one off because 2 people are not supposed to play because the blue people already lost. The blue
Hmm.
team already lost 2 people." And he says, "Hey, although I'm the coach here and I've made up this plan, I'm not going to execute it because I want to sit back and let you guys do it." What did you think?
Trash. But I think like this
Trash.
is this is one of those things where the loudest person in the room just ended up being the leader. And his hands down the loudest person in the room for his particular team. But I thought it was hilarious because I'm glad that you brought that up. I thought it was hilarious for them to say, "Hey, don't look at them," because they're going to obviously show you the wrong thing to do. But I mean, whether they do awesome or they do terrible, I think that's is something that you can leverage and know what to do or what not to do, right? So I think that it's an open book test. You got to take advantage of just being able to see what they're doing, right? So I thought that was an interesting strategy to tell his team, and they actually went through with that. But I thought it was hilarious for him to do all this rah rah. Hey, well, this is what we're gonna do. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then, hey, I'm just gonna take a seat back, and I'm just gonna coach you guys from the sidelines. It's hilarious because you did all this and want to talk about all this, and this is how we're gonna do this. And anyone that comes up with a plan, you should be able to execute your plan better than anyone else. So you need to be out there to lead by example, bro. You
Yeah.
can, if anything, shut up if you're gonna sit out. You cannot come up with a foolproof plan and then be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna watch y'all. I want y'all to execute that plan too." And then just look at y'all when y'all lose.
Yeah, you know who did come up with a good plan and they got all four done? Johnny Bananas
Johnny
and his
Bananas.
team, and that's why you showed me a clip of this. I am the challenge. That is Johnny Bananas quote, and I totally get it. Even from these
Oh, for
standpoints,
sure.
it's just good like figuring things out. We talked about it on 21. The promos when it's time to promote the challenge, and they're out here, and you see ads, little ads on maybe your TV screen or your Instagram feed. Johnny Bananas is a part of that because he is sort of the face of the franchise, and it's okay. It is okay, right? It's okay that he says that, and but he had a great strategy here in the season 20 of the challenge, Cutthroat episode 2, and they end up getting the win. But nah, Abram was incredibly bad. I just didn't understand that at all. And what I also did not understand is he volunteered himself to go into elimination, and somehow he doesn't go.
Because this anonymous vote shenanigans is hilarious, and that's what I love about it. And I think, like I said, a lot of people can throw their rock and hide their hand. They can say, "Hey, I'm gonna nominate myself," but hey, but don't vote for me. And I think that this is the in the OG days where people just love throwing rookies in there, right? They
Yeah.
love the low hanging fruit. So I think it's just interesting. So I love how they was able to, and unfortunately, when it is anonymous, it takes a lot of the dialogue out and a lot of drama out. Like, why'd you vote for me?
Right.
So I think that's the only thing that's missing. So it's like which one would you rather have, right? And I think this just from a drama perspective, and to be able to call people out on their BS, I think you want to be able to see their votes. And then you get set up for this unique situations when you find out where the line is drawn in the sand. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that he wanted to nominate himself and just take it on the chin, but still to still get not chosen was hilarious. Yeah.
I'm just upset that there are no true gamers, right, in this game. Obviously, we know we got Bananas. He's a
Hmm.
gamer. But, like, there are no true gamers in this game, right? If I'm Camilla and Brandon and I feel like I'm going to get thrown in every time, I might maybe try to go to the great team and go to a JD and someone else who feel like they're going to get thrown in every time. Sort of compile this alliance so, hey, everything's not going to work the way everybody wants it to work out, and just figure out a strategy. Like I said, I'm a strategic guy. I always kind of come up with some things that are outside the
Yeah.
box. But also, like, you're just allowing this to happen, and it just I feel like I had a greater point to make, but the fact that you're just allowing this to continue to happen, that they're going to throw in the low hanging fruit, and no one on the great team is saying, hey, Abram not only volunteered himself, but he's a faulty leader. He didn't go in and do the shit himself. Is there's no one on the great team that's just going to step up and be like, we're going to keep following this guy? This is the guy you guys want to follow?
I mean, I get that, but also like from the opposite perspective, I get that. Hey, P, you want to nominate yourself to go in, right? But if you're one of the strongest players on my team, that's all good and dandy. But we need you, right? So it's also in a situation where, like, I understand Abram wants to fall on his sword. Cool. If I'm another male, if I'm someone that I feel like I'm the person I think was gonna get thrown in, yeah, vote Abram. But if I'm one of those people that I don't think I'm in jeopardy, I also want Abram on my team, bro. Like,
Okay.
we need to win, right? And I understand that you want to be noble, but we don't got time for no nobility. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to get some chicken, right? So, like, I get that, but I'm not going to vote Abram in there. No. Just because he didn't participate, I get everything we just said. I'm on board with all that. But at the end of the day, I still need the best players on my team if we're gonna win. So we can't just be out here just voting the best players on our team just because we lost a challenge, just because we're not at the end, we're in the beginning. You feel me?
I
So
respect it.
that's my thing about it.
I respect it. He does have a lot of clout at this point. This is only season
Yeah.
20 of the challenge. It's not like it's season 30 or anything, but and he did win. He's been in multiple finals, but he did
Mhm.
win 2 championships by this point. So
Yeah, you're not
um,
throwing Abram in. Like, that's backwards.
that's backwards. So all right, we'll give it that. So I'll give you some. I'll give you some flack on that one. You're right. We can't vote him in, but he volunteered himself. And in today's challenge, you
Oh, that's
volunteer
all right.
yourself. You're going in. Okay, you got it.
Get that.
Your wish is our command. What else do I have here? I mean, we talked about Tori and Brad already, just sort of controlling the game. And Brandon, Brandon has to go in again, right? I
Yep.
mean, what do you think about how he's feeling in this moment? The fact that he's been voted in back to back episodes and has to go in and elimination again.
I think one, I want to talk through. Like, I love how Johnny was secretly making moves and making those alliances, which goes, you can tell, like, not trying to be too flashy, but just laying that groundwork to establish those alliances in the beginning,
Yeah.
in typical Johnny fashion. So he's doing fantastic. But Brandon, I think something that Brandon was probably naive to, that once you become the first rookie to go in elimination and typical challenge nostalgia, you're going to be going into the next couple eliminations until
Yep.
you lose. And I think the one thing when you see some of the most historic challengers, the ones that were rookies or their best seasons, the Denisas, the Camillas, you end up getting thrown in so many times in your rookie seasons or when you get that target on the back. The only way that you're going to establish yourself, you have to continue to win. And so I think that Brandon at this time, he's not 100% aware yet. He's also going in with the right mindset of, hey, I want to go in there and prove myself. I can't cry over spilled milk. But I think that the vets have been very vocal and so far and saying, hey, we're gonna get the rookies out of here. Anyone that's not on our side. And I think like Brandon and Tori, they're like king and queen. They run like a royal court and like, hey, we doing this, and this, and they got full control so far. So yeah, I love his attitude, but he might not know, but this is what the norm's going to be. And this is what his journey is going to be if he's going to be successful in this particular season.
Yeah, it happens to the best of them.
Hmm.
It's just kind of sort of the part of the game, especially at this point of the challenge. We've seen West go through it. We've seen Derek go through it. We probably would have saw Bananas go through it, but he was eliminated on his first elimination. So, it just happens with the best of them. He does have a pretty positive mind state to just like, I need to just dog shit out and, win these eliminations. But this was the infamous backpack elimination, right? This wasn't when it was so famous. This is a
Right.
super small version of it, but it's the first time we got to see
Introduction.
that.
Hmm.
And then we also got to see Mandy and Cara Maria go at it in the elimination. What did you think about those two in the backpack challenge?
Yeah,
Elimination.
I think Mandy, man,
God bless her.
oh my goodness, I hope she's doing one for today. Um, another physical elimination, and I mean, I know you're not a huge fan this particular season, but I will say from an elimination perspective, they set the tone so far
Yeah.
too. And I think like that's really really a fan of the more physical eliminations. This is giving me everything you asked for these particular eliminations. Very very physical. Comrade, very very feisty, especially going against Mandy. So I thought it was an interesting. I think it's a good way to get your footing, and just continue to reinforce that confidence. Thus, she performed outstanding. And then Brandon, I thought he did really really well as well. And like I said, he's continuing to going in the right attitude, can remain in focus. Not he can definitely pour that energy and being upset, but being able to pour that energy and being able to perform. Just especially being a black man, we got to support him. So I'm just excited to see how he perform to back to back eliminations for sure. What was
Yeah.
your thoughts when you watched
Yeah,
it?
I feel like Brandon follows me. We follow each other, so
Is
I'm
that
going
right?
definitely. We're
Oh,
going to
shout out
yes.
Brandon.
Shout out Brandon. We're definitely going to make this a clip because you're totally right. Shout out to the guy Brandon. He was the first one to introduce us to this backpack challenge. Although it's more infamous for CT and Johnny Bananas, he was the first one to do it. He got it done, going 2-0 in his first two eliminations. So we definitely got to give him credit. I thought that he was a pretty good competitor for most of his career.
Hmm.
Sort of got the short end of the stick a lot of
Yeah, for
times,
sure.
but no, I mean, shout out to Brandon though. He came out, he was confident, he got it done. He dominated he dominated that
Oh, absolutely.
elimination. So we definitely got to shout him out. It's going 2-0 back to back in eliminate. Let me look up his elimination record. But when
Yeah.
with Camilla and what's her
Comrade,
name?
Comrade Mandy.
Oh yeah, you're right. Cara Maria and Mandy. I I mean, Mandy didn't stand a chance. I mean, she
Yeah, I
really didn't.
mean, but at this time, I didn't know how good Comrade was either. So I was like, I
Yeah.
thought he was kind of even. And but like watching, I'm like, all right, Comrade's about a dog walker. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, shout out to Comrade. But yeah, especially shout out to Brandon. I think to his detriment is in his era. all the season that he's participated in, he's never been on the strong side as far as from my alliance perspective. I seen one season he came in locked in, and just just how the cookie crumbles sometimes is being on the wrong side of some of these alliances and things of that nature. So,
Yeah. If I said he had 8 eliminations, what would you guess his record would be?
uh, 5-3.
3-5.
Ooh,
Undefeated
so
against the
rough.
gays though.
See now it's and that. Hey, Brand, I took away my kudos. So you 1-6 against strong competitors. Say that.
Well, I think Derek is a
Was the
strong
other one?
competitor.
Who was the other
JD
dude?
is terrible. JD is nothing.
Yeah,
That's not a strong
he
competitor.
doesn't count. That's not a feather in your cap at all. Did he
Yeah.
beat the other Derek?
He beat the other Derek, but I don't. That
So
other
yeah,
Derek was not as strong as he is now.
at
I think he's a
all.
much stronger competitor now.
Yeah, in hindsight, when he's
That
like
was
much
his rookie
stronger.
season, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting challenge record. All right, Derek. All right, Brandon. You need to
If I
come
would
back into All Stars and get your respect because, sir, 3-5.
0-1 in the All Stars elimination, so
See what I'm saying? And
yeah,
you can't get one in All Stars. So we're really telling me is you 2-7 in the big dog stuff. I take
listen.
my shout out back.
Hey, come
I keep it real.
on,
I keep it
bro. That's
real.
funny
I
as shit.
can't
No,
support
no, no,
2-7.
bro.
Can't support
Come on
2.
the pod, Brandon. Come on the pod, man. Talk about it with us.
Yeah, you gotta come
Cause you
defend
know
yourself.
what? It probably is a disadvantage being a black man on that show having to keep going in. So talk. We want to hear
Yeah,
from
let's
that
talk. Let's talk.
perspective.
Yeah,
Let's
100%.
chat it out. Yeah, yeah. Maybe
I would
we'll
love your
understand a little
perspective
more.
for sure.
All right.
But
So
that's
I
crazy.
mean,
2-7 is crazy. I'm gonna call. Hey, don't come on the show if you ain't ready to speak on 2-7 in the flagship.
hold up. I said two. I said he's not 3-5, bro. Three and
Oh, three and
five.
five.
That's literally almost 4 and
So you
4.
2-5. So you 2-5 in the flagship.
Bro, his record is three and
Ew.
five in elimination. No, I'm not counting All
Oh,
Stars.
you're
I'm
not
saying
calling
three and
outside. Oh,
three and
straight.
five
All right,
in
cool.
flagship,
All
and
right,
that's
cool.
very close. I would have guessed 4 and 4, and it's 3 and 5. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
about that sounds about Brandon, right? Like, oh, close but no
Yeah.
cigar. Like,
You're a 50-50 guy. That's crazy. But hey, Johnny's a 50-50 guy.
that's what I'm saying.
So
So what is it to
50-50 ain't
be?
bad.
What
50-50
is it
ain't
to
bad.
be? What is it
If
to
you can
be
get a
if
50-50.
a 39% guy? Like, it's not that far off. So it is what it is. So,
Daily.
but yeah, I mean that is it for us so far, bro. I mean
Mm-hmm.
they go with Cara and Abram to end the episode, but I cut that shit off. So
The stars of the show.
yeah, they're the stars. Season 20. That's all they got. So
I think the crazy
um,
part is the main stars of the show are two couples.
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got 5 more of these. I mean, 4 more of these. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very happy to get through this show
That's not get through
because
it.
so much better seasons after this. And but it is Cutthroat. We know they're coming up with a new season coming
Mm-hmm.
out on August the 5th on Paramount
Oh,
Plus.
it's gonna be a
So we're just
movie.
getting prepared for that. So shout out to you, Scrim. We did this on a Friday night. I am not I usually don't stream at all on Fridays or Saturdays,
Oh,
but
it sounds like my Thursdays. I
I do
like
make
that.
exceptions.